Ojanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmiditam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Radhikaya Priyatmane Sri Srimad Bhakti Vedanta Narayana Iti Namine Prema Bhakti Rasanandam Kripa Sindhu Malananam Pragyapayantam Bande Sri Bhakti Vedanta Narayanam. Namo Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Shatarine. So we are continuing with verse 24 of the 5th chapter of Brahma Samhita. Uvacha puratastasmai tasya divya sarasvati kama krishnaya govinda ne gopi jana ityapi vallabhaya priyava nirmantram te dasyapti priyam. Shri Bhagavan's transcendental Sarasvati spoke to Brahmaji as he was looking at the darkness in all directions. O Brahma, Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha. This mantra will fulfill your cherished desires. Okay. Translation of the Tika by Srila Jiva Goswami. Why did Divya Saraswati give this rare and precious Krishna mantra to Brahmaji so easily? It was only possible by the mercy of Bhagavan. And why was such unexpected mercy suddenly available? It should be understood that Brahmaji had worshipped Bhagavan in his previous life. This mercy of Bhagavan is being described in this verse. Everything else described here is self-evident. So there are a couple of important things to point out before we continue reading the Tatparya of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And this verse actually covers a lot of very esoteric things. One is that in the verse itself, the Gopal mantra is given in a kind of a code form because it is generally not transmitted. However, we asked Srila Gurudev about this, and he had us put in the English the entire Gopal mantra. So the entire Gopal mantra is there, but here it is given in code. Kama Krishnaya Govinda. Kama means the Kama Bij. Krishnaya Govinda Ne. Ne means in the sixth, okay, which means in the Shashti Vishnu Bhakti, which means Govindaya. And then Gopijana Iti. Same with Gopijana. Gopijana Vallabhaya. And then Priyavaner. Who is Priyavaner? Priyavaner Vadni is Agni. So who is the beloved of Agni? Is his wife Swaha. So this is given in kind of a code form, is giving the entire Gopal mantra without giving it. But Srila Gurudev had us give the Gopal mantra directly, and it is, of course, there in the Hindi. But in the original Sanskrit, it is simply given in a kind of encoded form. So a person who already knows enough Sanskrit to decode this, they will already be someone who has been initiated Dikshit. So now let's read the Tatparya by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. The 18-syllable Krishna mantra, prefixed by the Kama Bij Klim, is the highest of all mantras, and it has two functions. One is to attract the pure living entities toward the supremely attractive master of Gokul and beloved of the gopis, Sri Krishna. This is the highest attainment of the living entity's transcendental pursuit. When the sadhaka is free from material desires, he attains the fruit of this perfect prem. However, in the case of the sadhaka who has material desires, this superlative mantra only fulfills those cherished desires. So this is a very important, there's a few very important statements here to unpack. First of all, this has been said to be the highest of all mantras, and my Gurudev has also explained this. Someone may think by the sequence that it is the Kama Gayatri, beginning with Klim Kama Devaya, that is the topmost, but actually it is this Gopal mantra. It is the crown jewel of all of the Diksha mantras. And by chanting this Gopal mantra, one can attain perfection. This is also described in Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. Now, this Gopal mantra, which is given in Sri Brahma Samhita, is the 18 syllable, and this is the form of the Gopal mantra, which we generally recite and is received during Diksha in our Gaudiya Vaishnav Sampradaya in the line of Srila Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. There is also a 10-syllable Gopal mantra, and this is what is mentioned in Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita. However, Sri Brihad Bhagavatamrita is describing Gopkumar, who is a sadhak on the path of Raganuga Bhakti, following the path of the Priya Narmasakas. And in our line of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, we are following in the line of the Palyadasis, or maidservants of Srimati Radhika. Another very important point here is that when the sadhaka is free from material desires, one attains the fruit. So how does one become free from material desires? By regularly doing Nam, by doing Harinam. Ideally, one should do 1 lakh Harinam every day. In Sri Chaitanya Bhagavat, Mahaprabhu has said, I will not accept any offering from that person who is not Lakpati, who is not chanting 64 rounds every day. This is not meant to discourage us from offering our food. It is meant to show us, oh, this is the standard to which I should come. How I will come there, I will gradually, by doing Harinam, by taking association of devotees, I shall come there. At least do 16 rounds, and one should also associate with those who inspire us to chant more and continue to chant more and find a way to chant more. And then this will, it will be possible for us to find that. And in addition, one must do the Diksha mantras. One must do the Diksha mantras and should meditate on who is the Ishtadev, who is the worshipable deity, who is the presiding deity of each Diksha mantra. And one should also think on one's sambandh, one's relationship with the Ishtadev of the Diksha mantra. This is all part of the process of doing sadhana with the Diksha mantras and doing Harinam, all of these things together. Because in the Diksha mantras, Gurudev has given us our sambandh. We don't need anything else. There is sometimes a controversy because sometimes people in the camp of Babaji say, oh, you have to have Siddha Pranali, otherwise you cannot enter into Braj. This is not true. It is also not true that Siddha Pranali is never given. It can be given. It can only be given by the Mahabhagavat Guru. But more often than not, we are given Diksha mantras. And in the Diksha mantras, everything is there. Everything is there and simply has to be realized. But our heart must be pure. If while doing our Diksha mantras, we are aspiring for something else, mundane, that may be fulfilled, or we may have a partial fulfillment, and then we will have to undergo some calamity to have that cleansed from us if we are sincere. If we are insincere and we are doing our Diksha mantras with our material desires to be cultivated, then we may be doing aparad and we may go away from the path of bhakti. So it is very, very important that we should do the Harinam and we should do our Diksha mantras with Nam, and mantra should be on Singhasana. You know, Singhasana means the throne. What does it mean literally? It means the lion's seat. So think if there is a lion that comes into your house and it chooses a sofa to sit on. Oh, this is the Singhasan. This is the lion seat. Will you go say, "Hey, Mr. Lion, get off this. Go away." The lion is going to, "Ah, I will eat you." No, you are not going to do that. So Singhasan is that place where we are giving exclusively. This is the Thakurji seat. This is the Nam Prabhu seat, is my heart. My heart is that Singhasan. Oh, Nama Prabhu, please take over my heart. Let my heart be yours, and I don't want anything else to come in there. Still, as Krishna has said in the Gita, apuryamanam, it is just like rivers always flowing into the ocean. There are always incessantly streams of desires flowing into our mind. We just have to tolerate them, not feed them, not say, "Oh, hello, material desire. I like you. Please let me feed you. Let me take some of the bog that I am offering to Thakurji, and I will feed you instead so you can get bigger and stronger and demand more of me." No, we simply have to tolerate. And we can also pray, "Oh, Bhagavan, please, I am being troubled by these desires. May they be burnt up." And we should pray to Nam Prabhu. Harinam will help us. Harinam will remove our desires from the heart. So let's continue with this Tatparya. In regard to spiritual matters, the Kama Bij is situated within the lotus flower of Goloka. In regard to mundane affairs, it is the reflection of the Kama Bij that bestows the fulfillment of all types of worldly aspirations. So this is a very important thing to understand. Kama Bij, the Kama Bij clean, this is situated within the lotus flower of Goloka. It is a transcendental sound vibration, but it is also reflected on the worldly plane, and it is able to bestow fulfillment of all types of worldly aspirations. So someone may do the Kama Bij, but they are doing it, the reflection of the Kama Bij, not the spiritual Kama Bij. Sampradaya vihina ye mantraste nishpala mata. That mantra, which is not received in sampradaya, not received from bona fide guru, it will be nishpala, fruitless. It is not of any value. So our practice of mantras should always be with, we should purify ourselves. We should do Achman. We should do this Naham Vipro Nachanarapatir Napi Vaishyo Nashudro. This is called Bhuta Shuddhi. Why? Because we want to cleanse all of the other designations away. And remember, Gopi Bhartu Padakamalayur Dasa Dasanu Dasa. Because I am praying that I want to sit here, do my mantras, and think on my sambandh, and not think on 100 other things. Okay? So this is very important. Now, there is some additional explanation here given. I believe this is also given in the Tatparya of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So this is actually very long. Let's try to get through it because this is explaining the entire Gopal mantra. So the divine couple, Shri Shri Radha Govinda, who are full of unlimited sweetness, are seated splendidly upon a throne of jewels, surrounded by thousands upon thousands of cowherd maidens, at the foot of a desire tree upon a thousand-petaled lotus flower in the Yoga Pit in the transcendental abode of Sri Vrindavan. The supreme method for attaining the loving service of their divine lotus feet is embodied in the monarch of all mantras, Mantra Raj, the 18-syllable mantra. This Mantra Raj is divided into 5 parts. So we'll take these one at a time. This invocation of this entire section of the Tatparya, this has a very strong similarity to one of the Mangalacharan prayers. Divyad Vrindaranya Kalpadrumadha Srimad Ratnagara Singhasanasto Shri Shri Radha Sri Lagovinda Devo Prishtali Bhi Sevyamano Smarami. Shri Shri Radha Govinda are seated upon a jeweled throne beneath a desire tree in Shri Vrindavan Dham, and they are being served by their dearmost. So why is the emphasis on Shri Shri Radha Govinda? Because the uh, the Adhishtatri Devata of Sambandha is Madan Mohan, and the Adhishtatri Devata of the functional relationship um, is Govindaji. And function and Adhishtatri Devata of Prayojan is Gopinathji. They are all present in this 18-syllable mantra. But there is an emphasis on this functional relationship. So one thing, Yoga Pit is like the focus, the seat of transcendence in the Dham. So Yoga Pit in Navadvip Dham is the place where Mahaprabhu was born. Yoga Pit in Sri Vrindavan Dham is where Krishna performed Rasa Leela. So there are different Yoga Pits, but here this Yoga Pit is referring to the place of transcendental pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Govinda. Yoga Pit simply means it is like the nexus, the central part of the Dham. What is the most essential part of the Dham? So let us talk about these 5 parts. I may not get through all of these today, but let's get started. So the first syllable, klim, is the seed or kama bij. Joined together with this seed, the mantra is Klim Krishnaya Govindaya Gopijana Vallabhaya Swaha. So this mantra is called a Shadanga Shatpadi mantra, meaning that its 6 words or padas comprise its 6 limbs. The 6 words are Krishnaya, Govindaya, Gopijana, Vallabhaya, Swa, and Ha. The mantra is formed by arranging the words in this order. Klim is the original 1-syllable seed whose meaning has been expressed as follows in the Gautamiya Tantra and in the Upanishads. So when we count the syllables of a mantra, we are not counting the bij. The bij is called the seed, and it is the kama bij specifically is the seed for the fulfillment of our desires related to the mantra. And that is why we do not utter it casually. We don't actually usually say it out loud. In this case, we're having a talk on the meanings of the mantra according to acharyas. And so this is relevant. But otherwise, we don't normally say this out loud. So Kleem is the original one-syllable seed. The seed means that it has to be given so that there will be effect. We are giving the seed and giving the mantra, and the seed is like the entry of the mantra. So think that our heart is something that has to be pierced. The seed makes that opening so that the mantra can enter our heart. So we always utter the seed of the mantra with great respect and great care, and ask that the entire mantra will follow and enter our heart, and we can embrace the desire for service to the divine couple within our heart. Shri Bhagavan created the universe by the Kama Bij Kleem. In this Kama Bij, the letters Ka, La, I, the sign of the half moon, that is the Chandra Bindu, and the dot above it have given rise to the elements water, earth, fire, air, and space, respectively. So this is making a reference to Kama Bij as actually the source of the Pancha Mahabhuta, earth, water, fire, air, and space. So this is a statement from Gautamiya Tantra. Therefore, this mantra, whose heart is the Kama Bij, is the root cause of all living beings. Now, in the verse, remember that Divya Saraswati has told Brahmaji, this mantra, mantram te dasyati priyam, this mantra will fulfill your cherished desires. Now, in this case, Divya Saraswati is advising Brahmaji, you have a desire to create. This mantra will give you success in being able to create. Okay, so this will be the root cause of all creation. Now, there's another point here which has to be explained. Divya Saraswati specifically means that Saraswati who is the divine consort of Bhagavan. She is also reflected in this world as Saraswati Devi, who is revered as the goddess of learning and who is revered as the goddess of learning and speech. But because people will use learning and speech for purposes other than serving Bhagavan, that is her reflection. It is the reflection of Divya Saraswati who fulfills the desires of those who want knowledge of this world. For example, Keshava Kashmiri, he was a devotee of Mother Saraswati, and he was very dedicated. He was every day doing puja of Mother Saraswati, and Mother Saraswati blessed him. But this was not Divya Saraswati who gave him his blessings. He got darshan of Mother Saraswati, who told him, I am ashamed to stand in front of this Nimai because he is my Swami. He is Narayan himself. I cannot come in front of him because she is taking the reflection role of the spiritual potency and acting in a similar capacity to Mother Durga, who is the reflection of the Chit Shakti. So it is a very important and subtle distinction to be made. Tasya Divya Saraswati. And then she is saying, Mantram te dasyati priyam. You take this mantra and it will fulfill all desires. All right. So now, and there's a footnote that Gopal Tapani divides the 18-syllable mantra in 5 parts, but here it is divided into 6 parts. Those on the path of Raganuga Bhakti interpret the meaning as follows. So we can get through part of this today, I think. So the first part is Kleem. The letter Ka indicates the very form of eternity, knowledge, and bliss, the Supreme Person, Sri Krishna. The letter La signifies the highest bliss in the ocean of happiness born from the love of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. The letter E indicates Vrindavaneshwari, the supreme potency Shri Radha. The sign of the half moon and the bindu, which together form the ending signify the supremely ecstatic sweetness derived from the mutual kissing of Shri Shri Radha Krishna. So this is similar to the way that Omkar is described. Akareno chate Krishna, Ukara Jiva Vachikaha, Makareno chate Radha. I'm sorry. Akareno chate Krishna, Sarvalokaika Nayaka, Ukareno chate Radha, Makaro Jiva Vachikaha. The in Om signifies Krishna, who is the leader of all living entities. The U signifies Shri Radha, and the Ma in Om signifies the living entities. But Klim gives a even more divine meaning, which comprises Krishna and the highest bliss, and Vrindavaneshwari Sri Radha, and the divine pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. So why is this very important for the sadhakas, practitioners of Raganuga Bhakti? Because think on the Arati Kirtan of Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Yugala Milan Arati Koroye Lalitadi Sakigan. Okay, what are we interested in? Jaya Jaya Radha Krishna Yugala Milan. Oh, we are celebrating the meeting of the divine couple, Sri Sri Radha and Krishna. We live. Those who are in this line of Srila Prabhupada Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we aspire for that existence as the Palyadasi of Srimati Radhika, where we live to see the fulfillment of the loving pastimes of Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Who has also said this? Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Nikunja yuno ratikeli siddhya yali bhir yukti rapekshaniya tatrati daksha dati vallabhasya vande guru sri charanarvindam. So the fulfillment of the pastimes of the divine couple who meet together in the Nikunja, in the secluded groves of Sri Vrindavan Dham. This is what I am meditating on. My Gurudev, 3 times a day, how my Gurudev is engaged in this service. So this way, we are not imagining ourselves and jumping up and trying to imagine, but we must think of my Gurudev is serving Sri Sri Radha Krishna. Either he is in this world and he is doing bhajan and serving Radha Krishna in this way, or he is the parikar who has come here, who was already serving. Makes no difference for us. I meditate upon my Gurudev. I do pranam to my Gurudev who is serving Radha Krishna, because this is the end goal, where I want to go in my bhakti sadhana. The Kama Bij Klim is the intrinsic form and nature of Sri Krishna. For example, it is stated in Sanat Kumara Samhita, O Narada, this Kama Bij is not something that is only made of letters. It is the very embodiment of Sri Krishna's divine transcendental form, because each one of its component letters is one of Sri Krishna's limbs. Okay, so let's hold on and let us try to follow this in a mood of great love and meditation. One should understand the letter K to be Sri Krishna's head, specifically the crown of his head, his forehead, his two eyebrows, his nose, his two eyes, and his ears. The letter L embodies his cheeks, the upper portion of the cheeks, his chin, neck, throat, and his fingernails. The half moon is his chest, his belly, the sides of his body, his navel, and his waist. One should understand the bindu to be his thighs, his knees, his calves, the center of his knees, the backs of his heels, his feet, the lower part of his thighs, his toes, and his toenails. So this description, which continues, is describing Klim as the transcendental form of Sri Krishna from the top of his head to his divine toenails. Furthermore, it is stated, O Narada, this Kama Bij, composed of 5 letters, indicates 5 flower arrows. Ka indicates a budding mango blossom, Amara Manjari. La is an Ashoka blossom. E is a jasmine flower or Madlaka. The half moon is a Madhavi flower, and the Bindu is a Malashri flower. These 5 types of flowers are the 5 flower arrows. So this is a very important, has a very deep significance as well. Um, and time is just a little short this week, so I will have to stop here. But I want to say that Cupid is also called Ananga, and he is called Pushpavana. He wields a bow which shoots arrows of flowers. And those arrows are considered to be the 5 types of sensory stimulus. But here, Krishna, who is described as Kamadev, and he is his Swarup is embodied in the Kama Bij Klim, also has 5 flower arrows, but these have nothing to do with the mundane sense objects of this world. So Kamadev is the manifestation of Bhagavan Aniruddha, but who performs this job of giving incitement for the living beings in this world to experience desires, because the living entity comes into this world wanting to taste different types of desire, especially to explore conjugal desires. This is a thing that hangs over us. And it's not just people who are, you know, men chasing after women, women chasing after men. It's everybody, every type of relationship in this world that involves desire. It is all ruled by Kamadev, because the living entity has a nature which is to pursue ananda, but our true ananda is in service when we give pleasure to the divine couple. So the Kama Bij, and thinking of it as Krishna Swarup, and thinking of it also as these 5 types of flower arrows, this is a way of becoming free from the slavery of always chasing after fulfilling sense desires, and always looking instead to associate with sadhus, to hear Harikatha, to chant, and to serve in association of pure devotees under the guidance of my Gurudev. So I'm going to stop there. We'll continue next week with this. It is a very, very deep and intense explanation of the Gopal mantra that is being given here. Hari Hari Bol, Gaur Premanande.
Hari Bol. Thank you, Prabhu.